Hi, this is John with Block Transfer, and just wanted to share a little bit on our prototype here, walk you through some of the design choices we made. We'd love to hear your feedback, and it would really mean a lot to know what you think about the UI, and just in general what you would expect from a sort of Web3 version of Robinhood. So, to start off here, we have just a little intro sequence where we explain some of the problems that we're trying to solve with our company. In traditional financial markets, capital markets, you've got a very convoluted process that all your normal stockbroker trades go through that add very small hidden fees that really add up over time. By our calculations and experience in markets, these fees are about 0.5% per year for an average portfolio. And we think you should be able to grow your wealth without all these hidden fees. And we found a unique way to actually achieve that. When companies go public, they hire someone called a transfer agent that keeps a list of all the investors on the books of a company. And when you invest with the transfer agent, you circumvent the entire capital system that's established by all the big banks and brokers. And you can actually just trade directly with other investors on the books of public companies. And so that's what we're implementing here on Stellar, using the native assets with obviously authorizations and clawbacks for regulatory reasons, but just trading directly through the SDEX. Of course, most people don't know that or are familiar at all with the technology, so you have to make the onboarding flow, how do you say, balanced, right? And then, yeah, just a little bit stuff here to make them confident in us, because kind of immediately after, they're going to go ahead and open up what's similar, kind of akin to what you would think of from a brokerage account. But again, it's going to be an account with the transfer agent, so they'll only be able to transact with the companies that we service. So the average transfer agent starts at 20 grand a year, and so whoever companies contract with us to be their transfer agent, those are the ones that they'll have access to because they're the ones that will be on the Stellar blockchain through our platform. So we're going to open up just an example individual account here, put in our EIN or our social or our international federal tax ID. We do need this just because money laundering is not ideal, and also there's clearly some withholding requirements on our behalf. We've actually been registered with the SEC for a little over a year now, and building on Stellar for just a bit longer than that. So definitely some regulatory oversight that we have to comply with. However, it certainly allows us to offer direct investing internationally to anyone that can kind of pass what the next step is, which is just going to be kind of your standard KYC flow that you're used to. So we've dropped in just a kind of a drop-in widget here, and in production that's likely, at least to start, what it'll look like. Just kind of a standard KYC widget, verify in any of 200 plus countries or territories, and that'll take care of on the back end all the other things that have to be handled. Once they get all their information in for their actual shareholder registration and all the data that we have on them, because that's what we put, and that is what is the makeup of our clients' actual capital books, which is just all the shareholders and then what all their balances are. And they need that for things like distributing their proxy materials, which we're trying to make completely paperless and digital on Stellar through our app. And we could talk a little more on how that's implemented in our white paper. So, big feature here, we have a non-custodial wallet. So you're really never trusting us as a centralized platform with the actual login credentials. And it actually, by doing it this way with self-custody wallet, all the trades directly on the DEX, it really removes us as a central risk point from the custodian standpoint, and also from the standpoint that we can't sell your order flow, we can't contract with big hedge funds, we can't do anything to mess up your portfolio. We can't take your securities out and lend them without it all. There's no multi-sig on the account. It is just your account, and God forbid you lose it, it's all clawbackable and you can reset it. But in general, kind of the whole principle here is that you have control over everything with your own keys, and that gives you just a lot of great options with your account. So, and on our side, your account actually just is identified by your public key. So it'll send us your public key, but your seed phrase is going to be generated here locally, and it'll obviously never change. After that, it's just some miscellaneous app stuff, setting pins, biometrics. Like I said, the paperless stuff is big. This contact info is not for login, but just for the actual paperwork that you have to receive as a shareholder every year. And then here you can set up a federation address, ideally not too revealing, and reinvest dividends. So every time you get a dividend, for instance, you could just buy again on the SDEX, and that can be done pretty automatically through here. Seems I've run into a loop here. So once we get more into the actual wallet side of the interface, this is probably what you're most interested in and where you want to see everything happen. So you'll have just kind of your standard investing app here. You can vote your shares, you can go to your meetings, kind of look at your whole portfolio. If we look at one of the individual stocks, we can look at how it's been moving for the day, some key statistics about it. These are the only thing we really have to pull externally, but the rest will be from Stellar, including like all the companies that we have or all the past activity in your account. And then, of course, if you want to do like a quick trade, you could send your assets to anybody, you could trade with anybody. And that's kind of the whole big objective here at the app, just to make investing a lot more globally accessible and ideally much easier. So let us know what you think.